welcome to my series about all Chopin's music. Today we have this crazy Prelude in G minor, opus 28, number 22. So there are only 3 more preludes and we will finish the whole opus. Well, the character of this prelude, I think it's very obvious. We don't really have to explain. Everyone can hear, and I'm sure that for everyone this is more or less the same. What do we read in Ferdinand Hessig book about Chopin and his music? He writes that this prelude is like a very passionate explosion of some furious energy, full of dramatic power. Like it's like a sound of the water in the sea when we have a storm. Very huge noise. What is very interesting in this, what I'm going to read for you now, is what comes the next one. But before I read, I want to tell you something. As you probably know, and maybe you noticed, I make some notes with my pencil in my score, and these notes are mostly helping me to analyze, and later it reminds me what I want to tell you, what is important or what is strange, what I should point out and I should explain, or what are some Chopin's ideas which are very interesting, something unusual, something that every listener will not hear himself. Of course, I'm not taking notes here writing huge drama or something like that, because I know everybody can hear it. Well, you are not stupid, and I perfectly know there are things that people can hear themselves and I don't have to explain them, so it's a waste of time. But what I wrote here is very interesting now to compare with this book. And before I read, let's have a play. I wrote here a question. Where is the accompaniment in this prelude? Question for you. Which hand has the accompaniment? Usually, each hand, or usually the left hand has an accompaniment and the right is having a melody or something important. Here, which hand has the accompaniment? Let's listen slower. And now I regret that I'm not live, that I can't read your comments, that I can't see what you think. But I'm pretty sure that some of you will write on the left hand is the theme and the right hand has the accompaniment. And some of you write the opposite. Maybe some of you writes nowhere. The accompaniment is nowhere to be found. And here we have what follows, and I quote: "This whole prelude gives the impression of accompaniment. The theme is not easy to hear. The whole prelude is like an accompaniment. heroic accompaniment in a very fast tempo, like a very masculine, with a lot of power, even brutal power. Accompaniment? Well, so this is interesting, but what is interesting is that I wrote my notes without knowing this book before. And I wrote this, and then we, too, with Ferdinand Hessig, we agree to one thing, that there is something strange with the accompaniment. But I disagree with him that this prelude sounds like an accompaniment. First of all, accompaniment to what? And second of all, it doesn't. Because it's like in Bach music, you know. Bach music has no accompaniment. Every voice is equally important. Here we have two completely different melodies. Let's call it melody. Maybe it's not the best word to explain what we hear. But let's listen. When we listen to the left hand, this is like a melody. This is a melody played with octaves. So this is the same note but double, so it is more powerful. The whole left hand part sounds fantastic when it's played with two hands. And that's how I started working on this prelude. First 2 hands, and then I tried to imitate what I've heard and what I mastered. I tried to imitate using my left hand. Listen to this played with 2 hands. Sorry. And so on. Okay, but right hand, is it an accompaniment? No, it is also a melody, and the main motif of this melody is the minor second, either going down or going up. You know. Ta-dam, 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 second. And here what we have? This is like a dramatic version of the first prelude. I would call it like that. So it's... And especially here, even Chopin himself writes here accents, so it's important for him. This is a melody in the right hand. For me, it's obvious. I don't know if you agree with me. But, you know, and now when I discovered that and I analyzed that, then I asked myself a question. So what is this? And in a few days after this question, it's usually like that. I have to sleep a few nights and then suddenly the answer comes from heaven. Chopin shout to me, "This is quarrel!" This is a fight between 2 hands. They argue. This is like an argument. Every hand has something important to say. But these 2 melodies, they don't work together. They don't fit. But still they exist. So I called this prelude an argument, a fight, a quarrel. And I think it's all the time like this, because it seems like every hand, none of the hands wants to be an accompanying person. It's very difficult to say. You know what I mean? So they both want to be important, but it can't be in music. But so they are fighting, and both are very dramatic, very powerful. Right hand is screaming, left hand is very powerful, and that's, of course, it's not funny. But when I think about it from the musical compositional point of view, it's very funny. But now I want to show you something that probably you don't hear immediately when you listen to this, and I think this is the true sense of this analysis of mine, of these movies, to bring out something that maybe you didn't know. How this is constructed. Can you believe me that the whole first part, part A, we will make analysis soon, but the first part of the prelude is possible to play with one hand only, with the left hand, for example. Well, except of one bar only, but that's the the exception that makes the rule exist. So anyway, I will play the prelude using only left hand, and it will sound exactly like the original. Well, I have to do it again. It's not easy, huh? Not easy. But let's try. These jumps are killing me again. Now, what does it mean? Fantastic thing. This is a fantastic way of composing a music, and this is, in my opinion, the proof that this is a quarrel, because left hand is saying something and then has a long note and is listening to the answer of the right. Well, now I will play for you the right hand one octave higher so that we can hear. Again. Right. Now right doesn't play, left hand plays. Now the right hand plays. Left hand. Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. Okay, now listen to it again. One octave higher without me speaking. So this is like a typical argument, but the argument with some respect, you know. Not all are shouting together, but one is shouting and listening to the answer, then again shouting and again listening to the answer. Very, very elegant argument, I would say. Now, but it comes only with part A. Part B is just like a regular fight with no respect whatsoever. Okay, let's now analyze the structure. Structure is extremely easy, even if you don't believe me. Part A has only one musical period. Consists of two phrases, antecedent phrase and then consequent phrase, which starts exactly with the same motif that the antecedent phrase. Let's listen to this. The antecedent phrase. Consequent phrase. And here starts forte fortissimo, part B. Part B, which we can characterize by saying that this is like a show off for the left hand. The left hand is playing octaves in a crazy tempo. that is very hard to find in any other Chopin's piece. Chopin never used this kind of technique. This was a Franz Liszt specialty, you know. Franz Liszt wrote this. But of course, this now I played you Chopin Etude, but this is the exception. Chopin Etude is like that, but the whole list is like this, you know. Octaves, octaves, octaves. He was a Mr. Octave. Chopin didn't like it, but here he wants to show the full power, aggression, something like that. So that's why he is using octaves here. This is part B, and part B also is a musical period, but this is very interesting. Both phrases are the same, so it's just repeated. One phrase is repeated twice. Listen. Repeated. And now what? The beginning of the piece. But as you could hear in part B, there is no respect. Left hand doesn't listen anymore to the right, but is screaming all the time, and the right hand is also screaming to the left hand, so they are fighting together. And now the end. We should have the first phrase or the first musical period again. We don't. We have only the beginning of the phrase, but then accelerando, so faster, 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 and then everything ends with three very aggressive chords. Who won this fight? We don't know. Maybe they came to some kind of agreement because the chords are finally together, you know. Okay, listen to the end. So, as you can see, the prelude is very short. What's interesting, it was written before Chopin traveled to Mallorca. The last three preludes, those we are going to analyze now, were written before. So it's short, but it also has a lot of interesting things and a great idea that probably Chopin never used before, of two melodies that they don't fit together, but still they exist together in one piece. So let's listen to this argument one more time, and then we will say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.